Alright, let's go for it. Oh, just realised that's going to play through twice. Didn't realise Twitch was doing figure video. If I can get that zoomed in a little bit more. There we go. Take me a bit central. There we go. Cool. And then that should be good to go. Cool. Alright, Bids is here. I appreciate you stopping by, Bids. How's everything going? I know we've caught up a little bit in the Discord. Yeah, Virg, you've had a really good weekend. Or at least what you've told me so far about your weekend has been really good. On the plus side, I get to crack open a... to celebrate with you. Cheers. Ah. Aha, there's the notification I was waiting for. You're going to tell me that didn't reach D. God damn it. Because that is the bot that I've been meaning to customize for a little while. So I can actually get like builds and stuff like that just popping up. So let me grab that, and I will have a look at that a little bit later. Pop of that can was crisp. Oh, it's been a while since I've been able to pop a can on stream, to be fair. Unfortunately, it's a little bit of a letdown because it is alcohol free. It is a school night after all. It's what I bought the microphone for, is to get nice, cool, crisp can openings on stream. Not because I was trying to get it for like video recordings or anything like that. So I'm thinking tonight, I've got quite a bit to catch up on when it comes to TFD. I've been a little bit negligent with the game, just in the meantime. So I'm thinking that if we just spend most of today, just grind out some stuff on TFD, get some Purge 10 runs going, because I'm lacking a little bit when it comes to core 10s, I guess. And then, yeah, that should put me in a good stead to be able to actually release something a little bit later this week, in terms of videos and stuff like that, so... yeah, it's just been a fun week. So, but I appreciate all of you stopping by. So don't be shy. Tell me how's everyone's week been. God, yeah. Have I done anything for this? Yeah, well, I've done one. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Is kid all right? Yeah, no, he's doing great. He's been fussy over the last about week now. You know, if he's held, he cries. If he on the floor and playing in his play gym, he cries. If he's hungry, he cries. It's just basically crying. So, there's not much that can really be done for the time being, but it's what it is. It's probably just one of those phases. I mean, let's be honest, he's probably teething right now, so at least that's our guess anyway. So we're just trying to guide him through that while we can. Can I just access other people's lounges? I don't know if you can just be friends or... So yeah, so other than that, he's absolutely fine. He's just... It's a lot to deal with, unfortunately. I can't even say I'm taking the biggest brunt of it. The wife's doing that. But even I can appreciate that it's a little bit on the crazy side. Reebs, I appreciate you stopping by. Hey, dude, found your channel a couple of weeks ago looking for builds. Really nice laid out videos, really insightful. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's like one of the nicest compliments you can actually give me. So, no, I do really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm a little bit on the slow side at the moment. So, I'm hoping to have a bit more of a productive week this one coming. But, no, I genuinely appreciate it. Thank you so much. How's everything going on your side? How's your weekend been? Oh, you can just visit other people's lounges. Okay. Sure. We've got to visit 2 of them, so let's have a look. Surely someone with a rank 1, mastery rank 1, is going to be a really good looking lounge. This lounge is not open visit. Nope. This is a nice lounge. Hi. I thought it was going to be everyone's doing Rubik's Cubes then for a second. So how do you do shortcuts? Leave reaction. There we go. We'll do that because we saw loads of people doing Rubik's Cubes. What a fun, interactive way of being able to earn. Don't tell Alyssa, but I'm going to visit his lounge and see what he's up to. That's kind of interesting that they all do kind of like wave at you. Oh, his favourite, right there. Everyone knows that. Oh my. Let's leave a reaction of a shocked face. There we go. Perfect. I'm so glad that we did that, and I'm so glad that they forced us to... We've got 2 modules there. Probably going to need to dismantle a few. Is there anything in here? Yeah, we'll grab that. Let's go dismantle some stuff. Absolutely no problem, really appreciate it. Yeah, it's been good, thanks. Spent it with family, lots of chocolate and eggs to munch on now. Oh, fantastic. I'll be honest, I haven't had a single thing of chocolate. That's my own fault. I probably should have bought myself something at the shop, but it's It is one of those, unfortunately. Crit rate minus 184%. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I don't actually partake in it too much, unfortunately, on this end. But no, I'm happy that you've got lots of stuff to be able to munch on and everything like that. That's good to hear. I'm trying to think what else. I suppose in the coming years, I'm going to be looking forward to Munchkin. He's going to be partaking in some kind of like egg hunts and stuff like that as he gets a little bit older. So, can't even type my own password in quickly. I hate this place. I can't even get my own blooming music to pop up. Is there anything that we do not want here? I've got too many mods. I need to get rid of some of these, I think. I might have to do some kind of like fire sale on these kind of mods, I think, just to be able to get them shifted. I've got too many going on. So we've got a free adjustment. Let's have a look what we got. Nope. What was the point? Yeah, egg hunts will be fun. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, well, we've got to get him up and standing up and walking first. But to be fair, it's one of those things I'm actually kind of looking forward to. He's in that stage right now where there's not much you can kind of do with him. You just kind of put him in the play gym and you just kind of act that him smacking something is a lot of fun, really, really good going and all that kind of thing. And don't get me wrong, spending quality time with him is quite nice and all that kind of thing. But yeah, when he's up and he's able to kick like a ball or throw or be able to catch or stuff like that, yeah, that's going to be probably the main thing for me, I think. But hey, it's only a couple of years away, I'm sure, but I guess we'll see. Right, so I've got a few more minutes until I can try locking in again, so let's see what we can... what have we got to do? Actually, we've got the 400% to cover, don't we? Oops. Is Fortress going to be the good one? Oh, it's going to be the good one. I might even farm this for a while, see if we can get some Catalyst blueprints. Sure. Yeah, let's do that for a while. Well, we're going to have about 3 hours of solid grinding today, so I think I'm going to mix this up with Purge 10. Get a few more cores, because I am absolutely running short. Mix in Wall Crashers, and then we'll see if we can get those dungeons done for the 20 weekly Ancestor mods. Get that cracked out of the way as well. Tomorrow will then be script writing for... I'm trying to decide if I want to do Keelan or if I want to cover Mega Man Lepic again with Ancestor mods. I haven't fully decided just yet. But I mean, it's going to be one then the other, so it doesn't really matter too much which way round it comes, I suppose. Nope. What have I got stuck on? Oh yeah, that'll be the memory making years, or the first steps in the first verse. Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, you know, I've said this to the wife, and I do mean this in the nicest way possible, without it being like it sounding like you know, a parent that doesn't like quite care or anything like that, but it just feels like a bit of a chore in like the first couple of months, because you can't do anything necessarily with him. You're just essentially waiting for him to be able to interact with you, to be able to talk with you, to be able to do activities and all that kind of thing. It's just one of those. But I guess that's a personal thing. I'm sure there are people that genuinely just like love the first steps and everything, like in terms of like when they're this young and you just cuddle them all day and all that kind of thing. But I think it's just a me thing, maybe. But I must admit, I am kind of excited for what he's going to be getting up to when he's a little bit older and all that kind of thing. I'm not necessarily like a Christmas person, but I must admit the idea of potentially going to like a Santa's grotto with him and things like that, little things. Kind of looking forward to. Is this just TFD stream tonight? I'm thinking so. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm really enjoying Crimson Desert and stuff like that, but I feel like it's one of those that's just kind of got to be a slow kind of burn for me. I might see how the evening goes. But I was thinking primarily a TFD one tonight, just to try and catch up on the few things and set myself up for the rest of the week. I mean, I feel like with how we've been playing Crimson and all that, I just don't feel like I've had enough time in TFD. I feel like I've been out of the game for a little while. I've become a stranger to my own game after 2,000 hours. I could probably just be leveling up some guns, actually, come to think of it. Probably would have been a good shout. Is there anything that I need to get to? Actually, there's probably like one of these lesser guns. Oops. There we go. I might try the music thing again, see if we can actually get that to sort out. As long as it doesn't start playing music randomly. There we go. No. No, am I in? I don't even know with this site anymore. I don't know if it's just having issues. Give me a second. I'm going to try something. Let's see what this does. No, it's asking me to join. I just don't know what it's doing. It's always been fine, but for some reason it's just... I think we just might be without music this this stream. Is there an alternative that I mean, I suppose potentially I could just put on... ads... media... local file... I could just have something in the background. Can have that. We can have it set to loop. 100%. I swear to God, if this goes ridiculously loud, which I think it's gonna. I can't hear it. At least not on my end. Is that playing anything? What are you doing? It is playing. Oh, weird. I just can't hear it. I mean, that's fine if it is playing. I mean, I don't necessarily need to hear it, but as long as there's something. Let me know if that is too loud, though. And I will get that changed. At this moment in time, I, for whatever reason, it won't let me manually check it without actually going into a stream, and then I'm going to get a feedback on the actual audio. So it's playing. Alright, as long as that's the fact. Yeah, let me know if it's too loud. We'll just go from there. Perfect volume? Perfect. That works for me. Ta. I'd rather have something in the background for you lot, while I probably argue with the website as to why they've decided to do this to my account, but hey ho. It's a real shame, because I really enjoyed the music being able to play it on that Stream Elements, or whatever it's called. Stream Beats. Yeah. Ah well. All good. Perfect. That's fine. Cool. I appreciate that. Thank you. Honestly, I just can't trust technology some days. Unfortunately, it is going to loop a little bit because I wasn't really expecting to have any kind of like backup or anything like that, but as long as it's some kind of ambient noise for you, hopefully that's something to help. I mean, I suppose I could every now and then just change the song. I do have a couple tracks just kicking around. We'll call it there for now, and we'll open up some of those amorphous materials. How are you feeling about the game as of late? I know there's been a lot of talk recently, and not much of it good, unfortunately. So, to give you a little bit of an insight as to what was going on, well, I say what was going on. On Thursday, I think it was Thursday morning, UK time, I think it was when we had the dev live stream, and they wanted to talk about like the what was it, the thing, the developer conference thing that they had on their end. You know, we heard about oh, you know, TFD's only got one line mentioned in their whole presentation and all that kind of thing. Pardon me. And I must admit, going into that, I was a little bit on the skeptical side. I was like, this can't be good. Ooh, full 4. Now, I'm kind of glad that they did come out and talk about it, because I think if they'd left it, it would have been... It probably would have looked so much worse. But the way... The stuff they talked about was a bit... I was hoping to kind of like put pen to paper and come up with some kind of script for a little bit later on this week talking about it, to be honest with you, but you know, the main gripe that I've got for it is absolutely Serena. So Serena is absolutely kind of destroying this game right now. And the fact that they don't want to touch her with a 10-foot barge pole to be able to nerf her is absolutely ludicrous. The crazy part about it, I think, is the fact that I had to burst out laughing in my car as I was listening to it, was the fact that they said, oh yeah, Serena's a problem, so we're going to buff the HP of other descendants to make up for it. And I just went, I couldn't hold back the laughter after that. I was just like, what am I listening to? That'd be nice. I can't be nice, it's Serena, I can't do it. I just cannot bring myself to be nice about Serena. I've got a loadout ready to be able to use her and all that kind of thing, but I just flat out refuse to actually play her because I just can't bring myself to do it. I don't think she makes the game fun, and I just. And you know, I understand, so that's like a 50-50 split in the community right now, because I think Alyssa did a vote for it, and I think 56%, if I remember right, said they wanted it nerfed, and then 44 said no. So I get that that's not necessarily a majority decision, but I think her kit's a lot of fun. I think she has fun with like the flying around and, you know, the idea of being able to buff her teammates as well as being able to, you know, deal out some excessive damage. So you've got the flexibility of being able to choose between the two. I genuinely enjoyed that side of things. I think if you take like the numbers and the maths and the amount of damage that she can do out of it, she is a lot of fun to be able to play. But as soon as you add in the fact that she is clearing Abyss bosses in record times, she's absolutely demolishing Purge 10, which was supposed to be some of the hardest content we have. She is the fastest way to be able to run the current dungeons. She's possibly joint, if not a little bit quicker than Lepic is in breach tracking. Serena essentially just comes to the top of the list for every single bit of gameplay that exists inside of this right now. And if you cannot see that that is a problem and needs to be addressed, then I don't know what to tell you. The fact that they've gone the long route and they've just went, right, we could take like one quick road and just go, right, we could just bring Serena down a little bit and then we can just give some quality of life to everyone else. Fantastic. That would have been so much easier to be able to do rather than what we're currently dealing with, which is, no, we're going to leave Serena where she is and we're going to try and bring everyone up to Serena's level. And that is a problem because then that defeats the point of any of the other content that exists in this game. 400% used to be not difficult, but they used to, you know, they used to take a little bit of time to be able to get through. There wasn't a time that Freyna was able to essentially just kind of like instantly clear everything with one single tick of a poison and all that kind of stuff. You know, there used to be something behind it. Same with Axion. Same with Axion, same with Sigma. You know, there used to be a level of difficulty, not necessarily like the hardest thing that exists or anything like that, but it used to take you a little bit of time to be able to go through Sigma, and it used to take you a little bit of time to be able to go through Axion, and now Serena comes in and essentially wipes the floor with everything, and that means that we've then got to bring everyone up to that level, which means that everyone can wipe all of that. And they're trying to keep her in line by giving us like new dungeons, which, to be fair, level 400 monster enemies and all that kind of thing, a lot of fun to be able to mess about with. You know, it's bringing us closer to what Purge 30 essentially used to be. We haven't kind of reached that levels yet. But yet again, Serena essentially is the baseline. She clears it the fastest, and everyone else is still lagging behind. So what's the point? I just don't get it. You know, the Abyss fights have specific resistances to be able to counter what Serena can do. You know, that shouldn't need to be there. But it is because of Serena. Being able to one-shot like Tormentor and being able to one-shot Deathstalker, you know, it's just crazy when you think about it from that kind of perspective. And I can't believe that their new solution is the fact that just buff the HP of other descendants. It's getting laughable now, and it's a shame because, you know, there was a time where this game was fun, it was challenging and everything like that, and it still could go back to that, but unfortunately they just won't touch Serena, and we're never going to have content that's going to make it hard enough for us to be able to do it. Boss Red Chat is preaching as Serena hates. Like I said, I like the Descendants in terms of her kit. I think her kit's a lot of fun, I think it's interesting, but I do think it's massively overtuned. And if it wasn't massively overtuned, I would have zero issues. You know, I in the early days, I really enjoyed running around with a relic and just being able to fly around and just be able to do a bombing run, essentially, and it was a lot of fun to be able to do that. You know, the smash thing with one of her red modules, where it turns her into a dive bomber and all that kind of thing. A lot of fun to be able to mess about with that. It's interesting enough, you know, it's a little bit different and all that, but it's nowhere near in the same kind of power level as using weapons. But it's interesting. It's you know, it actually has like an element to it that makes you go, wow, actually I do enjoy this kind of like playstyle. And then you just kind of see all the buffs to weapons and everything like that, and everything just points towards Serena, and it's just like, well, what is the point in what we're doing? You know, Kingsguard Lance is a fantastic thing to be able to talk about with that, because Kingsguard Lance was, for the most part, being used to be able to proc hyperfocus with the amount of like crit rate it's got and how fast you can fire with this gun and all that kind of thing with all the turrets. And they took that away to be able to do multi-hit, which is Serena's ballpark, and they made it so that it's insane with Serena, and they went, oh, well, that wasn't intended. So anyway, why? What are we doing here, people? Like, I know it's a rant, but it genuinely just boggles my mind as to how we're actually in this kind of like location right now. And the devs just keep going away with it, and I just don't understand. Honestly, so many things would get fixed in this game if they just nerfed Serena. And the fact that the chat was asking for a nerf to Serena just goes to show that we are actually asking for it. It's not like the Inez situation where a few people were kind of asking for it, and then they did a dirty and just did it kind of like too much and everything like that. We're actually asking for them to be able to nerf Serena. So, what can you say? I mean, but that's just my 2 cents, I guess. You know, it's just nuts. It shouldn't be nuts, but it is nuts. But hey ho. I hope one day we actually do get proper balance. I really do, because this game has been a lot of fun. You know, even pre-season and everything like that. And you know, the power fantasy is there, and I do enjoy the power fantasy that's behind most of the descendants in this game. But you can really tell that some just kind of got more love than others, and that being said, I am looking forward to the VSO rework. Just to point out, I do not want Fiesta to be overpowered. I want it to have something good about it. I do not want her overpowered. So unfortunately, Viesa is not the best when it comes to this one. Nope. Should have seen that coming, to be fair. Answer's not the best on this map, so we'll go to Haley. I haven't used Haley in a little while. I might even that, and then a bit of Peacemaker just to be able to move a little bit faster. Like I said, Bunny, Valby, and Dyer for top 3. Yeah, I mean, I personally prefer Freyna over Bunny, but I mean, you know, still solid picks. I mean, every single one of them is capable right now, so it's not exactly a negative or anything like that to be able to play as any of those. You know, you're going to be having a good time regardless, so. I'm just hitting tails constantly. Wait, what's going on? There we go. Yeah, 2 minutes is fine. Mostly after the calls. Oh, you actually get master tokens on this as well. Yeah, that's handy. Honestly, she just needs some more ranged options. She's crit and her cooldowns can be easily managed, especially after that's really saved her already. Yeah, I mean, the main thing that she does need is range. Let's be honest, when it comes to Viessa, absolutely needs range. She kind of suffers in the most respect in that kind of range. She has the power. She has plenty going on with the passive. She's actually a really good use of Bravery Set to be able to get your Blizzards back. So she's got a lot going for her. So absolutely, she has the damage behind her. That's what makes her so satisfying, in my personal opinion. So I'm hoping they do something to not go like Freyna levels, for example, but to give us some kind of like extra range to be able to help with mobbing. You know, the bossing sides is fine. You don't need to really worry about the range. And I don't think she needs any extra damage in that aspect. Maybe cooldown, but not by much, because most people run her max cooldown anyway. Honestly, I think she's actually kind of difficult to be able to balance. Like, for example, Absolute Zero is already a really good Ancestor mod to be able to go for. Not Ancestor mod, Transcendence mod to be able to go for. Does it need much of a change? I mean, maybe the range aspect would be kind of nice to be able to see on it. But the fact that it can go into crit is fantastic. You know, already ups its damage quite nicely. Same with Glacial. I feel like Glacial's in a pretty good spot, but unfortunately it does rely on a decent Ancestor mod into crit rate to be able to get the most out of it. So whether they change something along those kind of lines for it, maybe, I could probably see an argument for. But the other red mods, the ones that don't really get much of a look in, absolutely could do with something. So I guess we'll see if it's those ones that kind of get an adjustment. Seems like how Sharon mostly got a change on a couple of her red mods compared to like all of them. So maybe it was something along those kind of lines. We'll actually we'll kind of see. Thoughts on what we said, boss? So I refuse to build Nerfs Arena. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, the nerfs are going to be deserved, I think, personally, but sorry, I'm trying to see if I can sort out this music. I might just give up at this point. I don't know what it's doing. Yeah, screw it. I'll leave it. We'll sort it out for the next stream. Harris seems clunky. Harris is a bit of an odd situation. Like, yeah, she's a little bit on the clunky side because her range is a little bit on the short side. But I think like the toe and everything like that is, like with her one, it's a good rotation. Ah, I missed it. That's fine. I've got to do my one run of the TT mission. It's a good rotation because it requires you to go up and down her resource bar. Oh, I'm still just in time to go, actually. In that case. Let's go. I should be able to go this, and then this. That gets me my cooldowns. Whoop. What I could really get behind, I think, for Viessa, whether they put this behind a specific red mod or not, I don't know. In fact, actually, I'll tell you what, let's put Viessa on, because then I can... we can actually have a look. So Glacial's in a decent-ish kind of spot. Does Glacial need a change? I mean, you could argue that yes, it could do after Instant Cast got brought in, because it essentially is like a lesser version of Ab-Zero, except it's got a faster cooldown. That's the main kind of thing to be able to take away from it. You could argue that that needs a change. Personally, I like the idea that it's a little bit different because you can actually do like the throw cast and all that kind of thing. It's a little bit inaccurate, but you can spam more of these out. It doesn't affect your movement as much. So I could see an argument for that. If I was to ask for anything, maybe change it from Tech to Fusion, so that it can automatically proc Blue Beetle by itself, so that it can actually get to crit. That's essentially the main thing I would probably ask. You know, obviously her base kit needs some kind of like range adjustment, and I would expect that to come into Glacial Cloud as well. But overall, I don't think Glacial needs much because it is like a fun alternative to Absolute Zero. As for the rest, Hypothermia, where have I got like a... I could probably mess about with this one, to be fair. There we go. So Hypothermia is the one that deals damage over time, if I remember right. This one is okay, it's interesting, but it needs much more damage. You know, the idea that everything's, you know, once again, fusion and then singular on the last one for whatever reason, even though it's the exact same stuff when it comes to Blizzard. I don't know why they've just decided to go that kind of route, but I suppose, you know, you could make an argument that it opens up everything to do with Blue Beetle or whatever. I think I would like to see them be able to stack this up to like something crazy. I think going up to only level 4 and only doing 278% modifier is a bit on the low side. I think if they ramp this up closer to like... Could they go up to a 1k? I feel like they probably could go closer to 1k. You know, every 0.5 seconds as well. The fact that you're stacking up to level 4. You probably could get away with something like that. You know, the actual damage of the... Oh, these are the projectiles. That doesn't make any difference. But yeah, in terms of like you could ramp up the damage over time to a little bit of a crazier kind of level. You could use it with an affected weapon. You could stack up some extra like nasty, really like dot damage over time with Viessa. Could be an interesting one to be able to play around with. I think it will probably need a little bit extra than that. I think Frostroad's probably going to get a big change. I think the range on this is kind of pitiful, in all honesty. The main reason why I think Frostroad's going to get a change is because while the movement speed is really nice, just in general, even if I take off Hypothermia, you know, the movement speed is a really nice buff, but the range itself makes being able to proc one of her main things, which is Ground Eruption, really blooming difficult to be able to actually get this to proc. It's very inconsistent if you use this with Ground Eruption, and I think this should be her main mod of choice of being able to go for. So if they make this like a nastier kind of range, in her idol outfit, which one are we talking about? This one. Yeah, I think if they gave her some kind of like extra range on this, so it's much easier to be able to proc, so you don't have to just directly jump over the top of an enemy to be able to get this to proc, could be also a really good way of being able to go about that. Glacial's fine. Cold Snap Watch is, once again, it's damage over time one, if I remember right. The kind of Ice Shackle. What did Ice Shackle do again? It's damage over time, isn't it? Yeah, duration. So it's only for your skill 3. It's just by itself, it's just not worth it. That your skill 3, it does so much impact damage. So to change it to a damage over time, unless you're doing something very niche, it's not going to be doing enough. And the fact by itself is so close to Hypothermia, what is the point? So I expect Cold Snap Watch is probably going to be the one that gets the biggest change. So yeah, expect this one to do some kind of like nutty stuff. I would expect it to anyway. Cold Cohesion is pointless. Why would you ever use this? Because I'm pretty sure this just gives you more ice spheres. So it's unless they buff the projectiles on this to an insane degree, it is pointless. Same with you know, your Blizzard and all that kind of thing. So I would expect this to probably also get a big change. I would imagine it's going to be something like the more spheres that you have, the more buffs you're probably going to have across all of your skills, so you kind of want to maintain the orbs, maybe? That could be an interesting route. But outside of that, yeah, not the point. And Cold-Bloodedness. Cold-Bloodedness is interesting, but it just doesn't do enough compared to Absolute Zero. The main advantage to Cold-Bloodedness is the fact that you can use it on base Viessa, whereas Absolute Zero is purely an ultimate exclusive. But as soon as you get ultimate and then you swap to Absolute Zero, Cold-Bloodedness just kind of falls off a little bit. So yeah, I'd expect this one to get some nice buffs. I don't want this to change too much. I would expect this to be just getting like the base changes, and then this will get like a nice little bit of a tastier kind of like increase to everything like that. But yeah, that's personally what I'd expect to see and everything like that. I think what I would also want is maybe Cold Snap Watch could be the best place for this. Is like to be able to shatter and be able to deal icicle damage maybe to nearby enemies, similar to like how Freyna is able to spread through contagion. So when an enemy dies, they explode with poison, they infect other people that are nearby. It could be an interesting one being able to get it so that once you actually hit an enemy, they die from the actual skill damage and they've been frozen. Sorry, excuse me. Then those shatter and they send off icicles nearby, and any enemies that get caught with that take so much damage. And then they can also shatter and be able to spread it out that way. That could be a fun way to be able to fix Fiesa. I'd be all up for seeing better something like that, but yeah, unfortunately we're going to have to wait and see, unfortunately. But I think we're, what, like a week away maybe? We might actually get some details later this week. Let me catch up a little bit on the chat though. Cold Heart looks fun to be able to play. I only have camo, been grinding Cold Heart for like a week or two with no progress. That's a bit of a shame. All we need is love. But I appreciate you stopping by, and hope you've had a nice weekend and happy Monday and all that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, camo's still fantastic. Camo sniping is still a fantastic mod to be able to play with. It's arguably one of the easier ones to be able to actually use as well. But camouflage sniping is fantastic. So yeah, don't feel too bad for just having that one. How do you get those gold mods? Are we talking the gold mods that are over here on the left-hand side, or are we talking about this one here? You know, feel free to be able to point out to me there. Tommy Bahama, I really appreciate you stopping by as well. Hope you've had a nice weekend. Hope everything's alright with you. Darth, am I the only one who thinks that most Ascendants don't need buffs but nerfs? Game is too easy. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those that I think, you know, even though Serena is the kind of like the outlier, I did listen to Alyssa's video discussing like Serena being the problem and her needing a nerf, but he is absolutely right. He's spot on the nose that you absolutely do need to nerf most things, because at the end of the day, most Descendants have been brought up to, or tried to be brought up to, Serena level. So if you do bring down Serena, then you're going to have to bring down the other Descendants as well. That goes for Glay, that goes for Ajax, I guess. It goes for most people. I mean, you know, arguably, should Ajax be able to fully strip defenses and resistances of Wallcrusher? Arguably, no. You know, I personally don't think he should be able to, but fortunately, that seems to be the. Do you know what? I might even try and take Bossing Lepic into Wallcrusher. Why not? I can always die and just rinse and repeat. So yeah, so you know, absolutely, you could do with some kind of thing from there. Same with, but the thing is, you could make an argument that all you need to do is just amend Ancestor mod synchronization values, and that will bring some of them in line. Not all of them. Serena absolutely doesn't need an Ancestor mod, but quite a few of them do rely on decent Ancestor mods to actually be able to perform. So you could potentially get away with it that way. I helped. No, to be fair, actually, I kind of did help there. I'd like to expect that's decent chunk. Yeah, I mean, almost a bill in literally just one single skill cast. What else did we get? Crap. Mostly crap. Mostly crap. It's fantastic. It's mostly crap. Zera's here. I appreciate you stopping by there, Zera. How's everything going on your side? Not trying to throw shade. No, absolutely. I mean, heck, criticism's more than welcome over on this channel. But I still don't see the appeal of TFD with Warframe existing. It does seem like it's going that way. I think when, like, about 2 years ago when TFD initially launched, it had the chance of being able to run alongside Warframe, for example. I mean, obviously it was going to need a lot of work, it was going to need a lot of systems to be able to be developed over time, similar to how Warframe did, but yeah, it just didn't kind of like go that way, unfortunately, and unless something dramatic changes, it's probably never going to get to that point either. Personally, I just didn't really kind of vibe with Warframe when I first tried it. Now, admittedly, it's been... a second. It's not recent. The last time I played was May the 1st, 2023, so we are coming up to 3 years ago since I last tried Warframe. I know it's had quite a bit of a change since then. Right, get rid of you. Can I just delete that message, sorry? I don't know if that's come through, but either way, he's been banned. Yeah, you know, obviously, you know, a lot has changed in 3 years and all that kind of stuff. So there is a chance that I might actually try Warframe once again to be able to actually go over there and just give it another go. But yeah, it was just, it wasn't a bad game. It was not like, you know, I'm so, you know, I was like, oh, do you know what, I don't like it. I'm just never gonna touch it again or anything like that. It was just purely a case of I just didn't enjoy it at the time, and you know, just moved on to other things. That was all. But yeah, no, I can appreciate what Warframe actually is for people. So you know, that's fair enough. It's a cool art style at the very least. I can fully appreciate that. Reeves, Destiny 2 stasis style, absolutely exactly that. You know, obviously them to put their own kind of like spin on it, but you know, stasis could be a fun way of being able to kind of like talk about it and how that kind of like treads around and all that kind of thing. I mean, obviously they've got to do their own creative difference version of it. Otherwise it is literally going to be people just calling it a rip-off of Destiny, but basically the same kind of mechanic, I would say. Really worth any cool characters, or are you all robots? I believe you're all robots, aren't you? Or did the change to what was it called? The big kind of like expansion, the change. Didn't they bring in some kind of like humanoid-looking characters, if I remember right? Primed. I mean, there absolutely is some badass looking ones and all that kind of thing. They really do kind of like nail the aesthetic and all that kind of stuff. But I could have sworn they brought in some kind of like humanoid looking ones. What was the what was it, like 1999, was it? Yeah, 1999, yeah, they did bring in some... I don't quite understand how the DLC kind of like ties into it or anything like that, with 1999. But, you know, they do have, for example, you know, some humanoid looking characters and all that kind of thing. So that's the one thing I don't understand about Warframe, is how to actually get into like 1999. Like, is it part of the actual base game, or is it, you know, is it separate? Is it like a standalone in that sense, or because it's the same DLC? So, weirdly, I'd kind of be really interested in playing 1999 if it just constantly looked like that. But you know, it's. I think when I first played Warframe, I didn't fully understand the systems. I felt like I was quite overwhelmed in terms of what actually like appeared, what stats I was supposed to be going into, all that kind of stuff. And I was the exact same when it came to TFD. So I probably have a bit more of a found appreciation for what Warframe was trying to do, and probably have a better understanding as to like the builds and stuff like that now, after actually playing TFD the way I have done. So there is a chance that, you know, going into Warframe, you know, I'll be able to pick it up like pretty quickly and, you know, be able to have a bit of a blast on it. I just don't feel like I hear too much about Warframe as much nowadays, in terms of like mainstream media or anything like that. It could just be me listening to the wrong channels, or maybe my algorithm's letting me down, but but Buster don't have the Frostlast. I have a feeling they have a Frozen person. They're gonna have someone that specialises in freezing, and at which point I will then make a build called Frostlast. Warframe freeze frame. What are they called? What are they called? Frames? Prime? Frost Prime. There is a Frost Prime. Depends if freezing enemies and arm stripping. There you go. I don't know. Is it? I mean, if I was to check it out, if I genuinely checked it out and I had a look at like the DLC and all that kind of stuff and what I would need to be able to actually like get it up and running and all that kind of stuff, would anyone actually be interested in me like giving Warframe a try? Like, you know, downloading it again, giving it a proper go, all that kind of stuff. No, boss, it's not for yes. I'm not saying that I would like abandon TFD in any kind of sense or anything along those lines, but would people be interested in watching me actually give Warframe a go? Because if people are saying that Warframe's actually kind of decent and you know, as it currently stands and all that kind of stuff, then maybe I could be tempted to check it out. I probably would have to have a check as to what is the base stuff to like what is the DLC that people recommend. JJL is subscribed to the channel. I appreciate you stopping by there, JJL. Thank you so much for the subscription. I believe that's over on the YouTube side of things, so do fully appreciate it. Thank you so much. They don't have the cuties, sorry, had to mention. No, they don't have the cuties. But then I suppose I could just buy all the humanoid skins for every single one of them. I'd watch you, but there are other games I would watch you play. No, fair enough then. I mean, the big one that's coming up, and I do need to give another go to Capcom, is Pragmata, because that is out in... Oh, I thought it was out this week. No, it's out in 10 days. So I'm really looking forward to that one. Yeah, Pragmata's really got me hyped for that. It looks great. I'm very curious as to how the game's actually kind of going to go with that. Definitely would love to start Warframe up. I sunk all my time and effort into D2. I don't know if I could do it all again, to be honest. Destiny 2 is one of those games that I really wish that I was able to get into. You know, I came into it really late, you know, after all the DLCs kind of like got dropped for the most part. I think it was it First Light? Was the... Destiny... Was it First Light? Which DLC do I have? Lightfall? Actually, it could be Lightfall. Actually, Lightfall's in my library. It's Lightfall. Yeah, got into that and picked up a few of the extra DLC packs at someone's request, and I was enjoying my time. I just kind of wish that I felt like I was strong enough to be able to go into like raids and stuff like that. But I understand that needs like a coordinated team. That's the one thing that I regret not being able to actually kind of like partake in. is going to be the raids for Destiny, because I watch videos on them, I watch content, I watch like Aztec Ross kind of like dissect it all down with DPS tests and everything like that. That's the one thing I really wish I'd actually given like a proper go to. But alas, let's just didn't have the time, didn't have the people, didn't have anything along those kind of lines, unfortunately. But hey, yeah, here's what it is. Boss, I'm still waiting for you to stream home, Jesus Christ. You might be waiting a while for that, I think. Put you on. Put you on. Jesus Christ, superstar. Just casually glancing over at the chat and just seeing some random stuff. It's a real game. No, I'm aware that it's a real game, to be fair. You just might be waiting a while. Unfortunately, I've got TFD to catch up on. I've got Slay the Spire 2 that's got its hooks in me as well. I enjoy a really good roguelike. No, 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 god damn it. No. No, no. No. So what's over D2 kind of stuff? Supposed to be like 6 hours long. Thank you for the stream, Mr. Reyes. I have to be up in 5 AM for a flight to Ireland, so I should get some sleep, I guess. Great to catch you and look forward to the content. I really do appreciate you stopping by and enjoy your flight by the sounds of things. So, no, I appreciate you stopping by and spending some time with me. Really do appreciate it. So hopefully I'll catch you around. Think about allergy. I'd play multiplayer. That's the point. Yeah, it does actually have multiplayer. Forgot about that. It's a really challenging game, but I must admit I really do enjoy it. Are you taking the piss? spare this game. Oh my god. What absolute pig's ear I've just made of that. Jesus Christ. I really kind of just messed that one up, didn't I? Ah, screw it, we're going to make them. I saw a good roguelike, now you mentioned it before I go, Morbid Metal. Morbid Metal. Hang on, give me a sec, let me, I don't know why, it sounds a little bit familiar. Coming soon to early access. Interesting. Actually looks kind of funky. Oh, wait, what does that say? 8th of April. Oh, it's only out in 2 days. Do you know what? I'll add that to my wish list. It does look kind of interesting. Yeah, I'll have a check of that one. I'll leave that open. But you ever check watch the clip I got from your stream? Didn't I watch it on stream? Or am I misremembering? I feel like I did. Because I feel like I went, what have you put in? Or am I misremembering? To be fair, it has been so many days. Heck, I've still got the clip I need to. I downloaded the Twitch stream of the first time I played Crimson Desert because I've got so much that I actually wanted to be able to turn into shorts, and I just haven't found the time to be able to actually do it. To be fair, I've also got YouTube comments to catch up on as well. I've been a little bit lax. I don't like it. I'm normally pretty proactive, but I think that one sleep over a week ago has just kind of wrecked me. Can I add you on Steam? I probably could do that, to be fair. That's something for top tier donators. No, I'm joking. It's like a minimum of 50 quid a week. I'm the only mod that's subscribed. I mean, you are right, to be fair. I wonder what happened to Mim. Actually, hold on a second. Bids, have I got you modded on the YouTube side of things? I think I need to do some house cleaning. Ever try Warframe? Yeah, do you know what? I'll set it to download. We could try it, you know. See if my opinion's changed a bit. What is this new box? Why can't I break out of it? Finally got a blueprint. Way. Go on then. No, yeah, on YouTube. In that case, Bids, if you click over to the YouTube stream now and then drop me a comment, I should be able to just click on your name, just make you a mod. I think I've got enough of those for now. These on the other end. We'll set those. So that puts me up to 2 crime punishments. Oh god, I really just kind of hate that grind. There we go. Cheers, Bids. Add as moderator. There we go. Cool. There you go. Should be all sorted. Says I'm mad ugly. Bids would never do such a thing. That's impossible. I've known Bids since the Outrider days. That's impossible. That's so far away from the truth. Curious if we can. Imagine you're probably fine. Doing. Say you got strong resistance. I guarantee you do not have strong resistance. I just realised I only have 3 grenades there. Why do we only have 3 grenades? I'm missing one. Why do I only have 3 grenades? I should have 4. Oop. Yeah. Why am I missing range? Oh, it's the range on this, that's why. That makes sense. God, that really is more of a bullet than I thought. Yeah, because I need that 195. Ugh. Okay. Oh, that's no fun. Yeah, well, I mean, it's usable. It's fine. There's no whatever. Look, you got to help me, boss man. Oh, go on, then, Darth. What's bothering you? I think we need a gif of Dyer dancing the disco dance with some of this music. Is that something I can animate? Probably can't animate it. I'm wondering if I can. Is there a way to cut out the background? There probably is, actually. There isn't like a green screen kind of like area, is there, on this? I think that's the main problem, is it's going to be... The chroma key is going to be a bit difficult. I might have to rely on AI to be able to actually cut that out properly. Because I definitely do not have the skills to be able to pull that off. Not right now, anyway. But we might be able to get like a... you know, like the mocking dance. That could be quite fun to have in like the bottom corner. Actually, we could use that as like notification things as well. So when someone subscribes, you can just have a Dyer dancing, just doing the mocking thing. I suppose I don't necessarily need to cut the background out, actually. I mean, it would make the most sense. It would look the nicest if it was, but I suppose I don't need to. I used to help it. I mean, well, I mean, have you got the experience to be able to pull that off? I mean, if you've got the experience, I'm more than happy to either learn from you or to be able to have it. If it, you know, if you set it up, I will happily, you know, pop it on the string. I'll help you with ladies. Like I said, I can't help you with that. Like I said, I was talking about it in the Discord. So I am the worst person to try and help you out with that one. I've got no game, Darth. I've got absolutely nothing. That's just not me. I wish I could brag to you and tell you that I'm alright, ladies man, and you know, I know how to riz the ladies and stuff like that. It's just not me. Just don't have it in me at all. Let's see what we got going on here. Decent. Decent. That's definitely decent. Good mod as well. Anyways, it should lock in work if you need to keep the boss company. I appreciate you, Darth. Don't you worry. If you need to hop off to work, work is way more important. You've got to pay the bills after the end of the day, so... but I appreciate you with the effort that you do and everything like that. So, do you know what? We could probably change that song around now. What other songs do we have? Tell you what, let's turn this one off for now. I think it's just... Oh, that's how I can hear it. That makes more sense. We'll turn it off there, and we will go... so which... Oh god, this might go really loud. Oh, I knew that was going to do it. I wonder, can I just actually set up a folder in this, or just... Hold on a second, let me try something. I don't know if this is going to work, but... that... Which one are you? Yeah, no, I don't want that. That one. That one. I wonder if I could put it on like a loop of some songs. Turns out I only have the 3. Okay. You can tell I don't download songs too often. To be able to actually use in my content. Let's remove that. Try again. Okay, and then if I go media, browse, music. Ah, can you not do it? Which one are you? Sure, we'll put it on that for now. Oh god, that's... I'm so sorry if that's just deafened people. I will have this fixed for next stream, by the way. This is just trying to put something in there. You could create a playlist and have a shuffle that. Yeah, I mean, that's going to take a little bit of time. And I just don't really... Like I said, I've got something that's sorted for that, and I just don't... For whatever reason, it's just not playing ball today, so I will sort that out for next time. In fact, I actually could give it another go. We'll give it another go. Let's see what it does. Maybe enough time's passed that it's now decided it wants to work. No, I think Streamer Beats is just having a... I might have to actually speak with someone. I think it's just having a moment. I'll check it out tomorrow. It's fine. Either way, it'll be sorted come Friday. So as long as I've got something in the meantime, that's the important thing. So, right. Where are we up to? Oh, this is level 40. Put you on. That's measure how he sorts music. Yeah, I might have to. Like I said, I'm paying for a subscription for this thing that should be working, and you know it's normally quite fine. You know, I quite enjoy it and everything like that. But for whatever reason today, it's just not playing ball. It's logged me out of my account. I've changed my password. I've tried logging back in, and I just can't get to the area where it considers me logged in for whatever reason. So whether it needs like 24 hours to reset itself or something like that, I don't know. But whatever. It is what it is. I'll deal with it. It's fine. You know, it's fine. It's just something I didn't want to have to deal with, but you know. While blocking increases maintain block gauge cost by 60%. Is that just giving me like a massive amount of extra damage when I just have that? We'll level that one up. It's annoying. It is a bit frustrating, but it'll be fine. Right, let's go for a few more runs. I might as well. I'm trying to get my 20 mods, and I'm also trying to get Crime and Punishment fully leveled up, so might as well. What are you up to anyway, Bids, in TFD? Have you had much chance to be able to actually get some game time in it, or...? Not really? No, that's fair enough. I mean, you've got plenty of stuff going on, so do not blame you whatsoever. Yeah, well, we've actually got quite a few viewers, and I assume most people are currently lurking, so you know, appreciate you all stopping by. How has everyone's weekend been? Happy Easter for yesterday and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, we're currently blasting on TFD, as you can currently tell. If you can hear me over in the chat, let me know what is your current favourite descendant, and are you excited for the VSR rework that's going to be coming this month? Love to be able to hear some people's thoughts. I suppose instead of me running this, I could actually just use Frainer and get crime punishment fully leveled up. So let's have a look at some ancestor mods. Mix it up a little. Oh, we've got David in chat. Appreciate you stopping by, David. How's everything going your way? And hope you've had a nice weekend. After what they did to Glay and Sharon, I'm dreading what they'll do to Viesa. I'm kind of curious as to your stance on that one, to be fair, because I thought they did in terms of like upping the power level and everything like that, I feel like they did a good job with Glay and Sharon. I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what about the Sharon and Glay ones did you not enjoy? Or was it just purely around the fact that Glay got nerfed before she got brought out, as well as afterwards and everything like that? Yeah, I'm kind of curious on your thoughts on that one. I'll be open to hearing a little bit more. Go on then, let's see if we can get some nice... Nope. Nope. That's an interesting one apart from the fire skill. That sucks. So, I might have to say no to that one. Ooh. Might take that one. Might take that. No. Not what we're looking for. No, modifier's one of the worst things we could probably roll for. Crit damage, duration, and machine. No. That's better. We'll keep that for now. Half tempted to keep the VSA mods, because depending on what her kit does when she gets brought out, yeah, do you know what? I'm just going to get rid of some of these mods. It just ain't going to be used. Yeah, it's not going to get used. That's not going to get used. That might do. Find it hard to play live service games on TFT Warframe, so solo. I get ball click. That's fair enough. Yeah, I appreciate that. To be fair, Borderlands 4 is kind of like doing that for me at the moment. You know, I really enjoy a good Borderlands game when it comes to like live service. And, well, it's not quite live service, I suppose. But like looter shooters and all that kind of thing. Borderlands 4, I quite enjoyed. But as soon as well, Kiddo arrived at the perfect time because he caught me mid-stride in that game, and then I've just kind of struggled to be able to go back to it since. So I kind of get what you're saying there, because now I'm looking at it and I'm trying out the new character in it, and I'm just like, can't bring myself to do it. So yeah, to an extent, I get what you're saying. My issue is that they never actually nerf anyone. They just make them clunky and less fun to play. Glaive, why being stuck in one place, firing a fourth. Sharon with the OG dumb teleport idea. Yeah, the OG dumb, the teleport thing was a little bit, yeah, wasn't needed. I'm kind of curious as to how that managed to get like kind of past like development stages and all that kind of thing. I mean, she feels so much better to play now because you don't actually have to teleport. You know, granted, you could make an argument that it's a little bit on the clunky side still because you need to be able to use your skill 3 to then go into cloak to be able to then start doing damage to be able to get the most out of her and all that kind of thing. I get that. But Ambushed feels really good with that kind of side of things at the moment. I mean, it takes a slight adjustment to playstyle, granted, but it does feel on the good side with that. Yeah, we can get rid of that one. Not going to need that anymore. The same with that. Make some space. So to a certain extent, yeah, I mean, I get it, and you know, also, Glaive with Blood and Iron was a little bit awkward because you could make an argument that her original one was better than what we've got now. I mean, at the very least, being able to shoot through walls, but you know, the fact that you were stuck in place wasn't really kind of like that because you could just activate your bike and you would be freed of it. So you could re-angle and everything like that. It wasn't really a problem. You know, granted, it required you to be able to get on your bike and all that kind of thing. But, you know, in certain areas you weren't able to actually kind of like do that because you had to be in a vehicle accessible area. But you could still find a way to be able to get around it. So yeah, it's one that you could use, but I do appreciate where you're coming from. You know, it's not me. You know, just turning a blind eye to it or anything like that. So you know, I get it. I will say that you know, the one reason I'm scared when it comes to Viessa is the fact that Viessa is already pretty strong. You know, not necessarily the strongest out there, you know, far from it, but she does have a lot going for her right now. You know, the main thing that people in the community are just saying that is all that she needs is some range, and to be completely honest with you, it's pretty much true. Her one only goes so far. I kind of like the idea that it can air burst, which is great and all that, but it doesn't seem like it goes very far by itself anyway. You know, her third, insanely strong, but is incredibly small kind of range. Her fourth, really good strong ability, especially because of the passive with the extra damage to names and Colossus and all that kind of stuff. But it is just, once again, range that kind of like lets her down. So I'm really hoping that they really kind of hammer in the bits that are needed and not just go past that and go for something else completely. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm open to another fun playstyle and all that with her. You know, we were talking about some potential ideas earlier in terms of like what they could actually do with some of the red mods, some of the lesser used ones and all that kind of stuff. So there definitely is room for creativity to be able to actually mess about with it, but as long as they actually kind of like adjust the base kit in terms of range, so it is still given to something like Absolute Zero, but they keep Absolute Zero as it is. I don't think it needs any extra power behind it. You could make an argument maybe it needs a little bit of cooldown, but to be honest with you, if you go in max cooldown with VSR anyway, 6 seconds is more than fine when it comes to a skill 4. Especially since we use it with bravery anyway. But yeah, they could go a little bit crazy. But yeah, I think range. I think there has to be a reason to use a red mod over Absolute Zero, and the only way they're going to be able to do that is if they give us something along the lines of Contagion for mobbing. If they give us something along those kind of lines, and we were talking about like Shatter and Stasis from like Destiny 2, for example, being able to actually stasis freeze other people and all that kind of thing, could be a fun way of being able to go about it. You know, I'd be 100% down for that, just as a purely mobbing kind of build. It's an idea. You know, it'll give us something else to kind of like build into, to be able to like test out and all that kind of stuff. But we'll see. We'll see what they cook up with, and I guess we'll take it from there, I suppose. But we can only hope. We can only hope. Alice, the music while I'm playing TFD solo, it keeps me entertained. Perknowitsky, I appreciate you stopping by, and hope you've had yourself a lovely weekend and a lovely day today. Yeah, no, I get that. You know, personally, I mostly play with my headset off when it comes to it. I only play with the headset on for stream, to be able to listen out for like sound alerts and you know, all that kind of stuff. But you're not the first person that I've heard that actually plays with like music in the background, and yeah, actually will keep you distracted away from like the grind and all that kind of thing. Yeah, to me, all VS needs is range and the ability to place a fourth anywhere instead of on top of a surface. Yeah, I can get that. That's what everyone's been asking for. I just fear they won't listen. As long as they can pull that off, but they do more, because let's be honest, they're not going to go and call that a rework. You know, we're going to see so much more than that come her way, and you know that's absolutely fine. You know, like I said, you know, at the end of the day, she has lesser used red mods because the only two, well, you could argue that 3 kind of get used at the moment, which will be Absolute Zero, Cold Blooded, and Glacial Cloud. Glacial Cloud's kind of fell off a little bit since with Instacast, but Glacial Cloud is still fantastic. But yeah, I mean, you know, all the other stuff like Cold Snap Watch, and Cold Cohesion, or whatever it is, all those ones I would happily love to be able to, and Hypothermia especially. Hypothermia opens up so many different kind of like build possibilities for her, but it is just too on the low side. Most of your damage actually comes from infected weapon, and I really wish we'd actually get like a different way of being able to use that. So whether that becomes like the Contagion thing, you know, I'd be down for. But like I said, I'm going to hold my reservations until we actually get to see what they're bringing out, and then kind of like take it from there. I will absolutely, you know, because VSR I find is one of the most satisfying to play Descendants in the game as it currently stands. I will happily rip them to shreds if they do anything of the sort that kind of takes away and detracts and makes it so much different from what it was actually supposed to be doing and all that kind of thing. Because it's similar to like if Blair... oh, voice is a little bit low? I can turn it up. There we go. Let me know how that is. Yeah, but it's similar to Blair. If they go put Blair on the rework list next, or some point in the near future, and they absolutely demolish him, I will be in uproar about it, because he's also one of the more satisfying ones for me to be able to actually kind of play. So yeah, here's what it is. Right, daily stuff. You do have a point. Where's my daily stuff? Daily stuff. Oh, I've actually got one more to run. No, I actually thought I'd finished that. And a Void Vessel. Yeah, we can get a Void Vessel out of the way. I mean, I kind of do want more of these, so that's fair enough. But we do need to worry about Wall Crusher. So I'll tell you what, we can whiz through a Fortress quick, because we can do that in about less than 2 minutes. And then we can get to Wall Crusher. We can do that and then move it on from there. But I do appreciate you stopping by, MVP Cast. I hope you're doing well. I hope you've had a great weekend. And yeah, welcome to the stream. Bid's doing moderator duties. I appreciate you. Wait, your daily quest already finished? I've done most of them, not fully. You know, I've done my Sigma sectors. It turns out I've got 3 out of 4 of this. I genuinely thought I'd done more than 4 runs, but it turns out I had not. And then we'll do a void vessel just to be able to get the catalyst. Hilariously, I don't really care too much about the dailies. I should do, because I always find myself struggling for gold. Absolutely should be paying more attention to my gold. There was a time where 400% used to be nasty. We are past those days. Discord link should be in the pinned comments at the top of both streams, so whether you're over on YouTube or whether you're on Twitch, it should be in the pinned comments there. There we go. All in time, ready for Wall Crusher. Perfect. If you need me to repost the Discord, I'm more than happy to be able to sort that out for you. Absolutely fine. There you go. Pardon me. Real gassy today, apparently. Kind of want to go back to this game, but remembering the grind to unlock new heroes is kind of super ultra hard. It's putting me down. It's actually got so much easier recently, depending on where you stop playing. Because you know, in the past it used to be a case that some of them were locked behind Colossus. So you basically just farm for amorphous materials, and then you would essentially go into a Colossus fight and you'd be opening one at a time after every single one, and it was a little bit on the tedious side, to be honest with you. But now they've actually changed it, so in case you finish before this, they've now moved the machine to here, and you can just go to shape material. The 2 that I've just earned, I can just shape continuously here. So regardless of like the ones that you get, and just like that I've opened 2. So yeah, they have kind of made it easier. Also, if you stopped before it as well, they have got a pity system in place as well. So for example, if you wanted to go Descendants, and let's say I want to farm Ultimate Blair, granted these kind of materials you are going to have to farm yourself, but for example if you wanted that, you just essentially go for these amorphous materials here. You can actually see their 15-20% chances, and depending on where you get them from, you can actually set it as a target reward, and that means that if you don't get it on your first whiz through or anything like that, then you are guaranteed to get it after so many tries. If I put the Discord in the wrong location, I have put it in the wrong location. There we go. We'll put it there as well. So yeah, so there's different ways of being able to get it, but set target rewards essentially puts it on your library. It puts it on here, so every time you complete a certain piece of content that is relative to it, it will slowly fill up the bar. Now, depending on the thing that you are going for, some will actually go faster than others. In the case of like the E-Buster, because the drop rate is kind of on the low side, it slowly fills up, but you will be always working towards getting some kind of like progress for that. Do you know what? I enjoyed it last time. Let's do the same again this time. Let's fire my balls all over Wall Crusher. So yeah, so they have made some changes to that. So you know, it will be a little bit easier for you to be able to actually farm for the stuff you want. As for David, what's your theory on why the devs are so weirdly reluctant to touch Serena? It's going to be twofold, or at least from an outside perspective, it's going to be twofold. So it's going to be a combination of they saw what happened with Inez when they nerfed her. Now, to be completely honest, they went way too overboard when it came to Inez. You know, what they did with her is they essentially took her from someone that can do you know, insane mobbing and can still kind of deal with elites, you know, quite well. And then they made it so that she couldn't deal with elites whatsoever. And you know, to be fair, Inez did need a change. Oh, really? There we go. That's what I needed. She absolutely needed something. But I do think they went a little bit on the overboard side of things. Which is why people are now asking for Inez to be buffed. Yeah, it's a bit of a pitiful state for where Inez is right now. What do we get? Good, Dominators, that's not bad. Crap. Not bad. That's actually a pretty good duration. Yeah, everything else is crap. 124 keys though, that's good. Actually, I didn't actually get to see my damage. 1.1. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, so it's going to be twofold. It's going to be because of you know, they saw what backlash they got for what they did with Inez, and they're scared to repeat you know, the same stuff all over again. So there's that, but there's also the fact that most of the core base that are left still play Serena. In fact, quite a few players. I know, for example, that some of the content creators, most notably Senevades, has said that if Serena gets nerfed, he is going to leave the game. And I think that's the mentality that a few of them do actually have, which, you know, Sen's a great bloke and all that kind of thing. He's you know, he's a fantastic content creator, and you know, he absolutely is like a credit to the community and all that kind of thing. But I just don't agree with that take. You know, granted, that's a personal thing. You know, that's you know, that's, you know, at the end of the day, people are going to have differences in opinions and all that kind of thing. But I personally just don't get why you wouldn't want Serena there and getting nerfed and being hit for the health of the game. It seems bizarre to me. With the amount of reworks that they've got planned to be able to bring all the rest of the cast up to Serena's level, like, I mean, how many descendants are we on right now? Yeah, get rid of ultimates. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We're up to 22 descendants. You know, and 21 of those are going to have to get brought up to Serena level. And it's just like, the easiest way, instead of going about 21 descendants, the easiest way to be able to go about it is to literally hit the one. And I just don't understand the mentality that's behind it from the devs perspective. I don't understand it from the community perspective. Like, well, I can appreciate it more from a community perspective, because, you know, there are arguments that, yes, it's a PvE game and shouldn't have nerfs, and you know, it's all about the power fantasy and everything like that. they are valid arguments. You know, I'm not here to say that, you know, you shouldn't, you know, no one has a point. I'm going to put my fingers in my ears and go, la 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 la, I'm not listening. But in the same respect, the whole point of us playing this game right now is to actually being in a healthy environment, for it to have longevity, for it to be like a healthy sandbox. And there's always going to be someone that's the best one to be able to use. There's always going to be a meta, regardless of the game that you play. And, you know, Serena is still more than comfortable to still hold that meta. There's not a problem with that. I just think it's kind of egregious as to how much of the meta she currently holds. And I think that's the main thing that should actually get changed. You know, all you need to do is just like change a couple of the modifiers. You could change a little bit as to how a kit behaves, make it so it's a little bit easier or a little bit like a little less obnoxious and all that kind of thing. You know, make it so it can't be used with every single gun that exists under the sun. You know, there's so many different ways that you can go about it, but unfortunately it's just the nature of the beast. I mean, she has Ancient Knight, which is her gun, but she never uses her gun because she has no need to use her gun, because Kingsguard Lance and Restored Relic and Last Dagger and all these kind of things do everything so much better, so why would you ever use it? It's just, it's bizarre. It is absolutely bizarre. I'm going to change this song again. So yeah, it's one of those videos that's going to be opening up for a longer script and things like that, and you know, it's absolutely something that I probably should have a talk about at some point. It's something that I do have penned down to talk about at some point anyway, but for right now, yeah, it's just for the time being, you know, I'm Serena's there. She has a preset, she has a loadout that I can swap to if I ever need to. Until then, I'm just going to pretend that she doesn't exist. You know, that's my personal way of dealing with it. You know, because I find it way more fun actually having a bit of a fun time trying to find other builds for Descendants and all that kind of thing. I get that's not everyone's thing. That's fair enough. You know, Serena's there for people that do want to actually play Serena. But for me personally, I think she's just way too much easy mode. She does feel like a cheat code, and you know, that's just why I just don't play her. I think that's also the reason why it's probably been about a year since I actually released a video to do with her. Do you know what? I'm actually going to check that. I think it's going to be about a year. Because I think that's when she came out, didn't she? If I type in Serena. 21st of March. Yeah, it's been just over a year since I last did a build for her. So it's made even more crazy by the fact that I know that people do look out for Serena builds. So I am hindering my own channel because of it, but I just can't bring myself to do it. So it's what it is. That's why we're up to. I thought about Inez. I'm one of the people they were really pissed off with it, but since then they've had no issues taking a hammer to Glay. She has a lot of fans as well. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, Glay needed, you know, some tuning. But you are right. Why is it that they can tune Glay, but they can't tune Serena? I think the Glay one was made even more, and you know, my new favourite word of the day is going to be egregious. But Glay was made much worse by the fact that they tuned it beforehand, which was a good thing. You know, you know, I can't. You know, I'm not going to say any bad words about that. They, you know, probably you could argue that, you know, they probably should have noticed before it got to live day, but you know, that's fine. You know, before it got into our hands, before we got to be able to mess about with it or anything like that, before we got to have an extended play test or anything like that ourselves, and before we got like too settled with it, they went, yeah, do you know what? She's doing way more than she should do, and we're gonna fine tune that. I was like, fine, that sounds great. It's, you know, they're actually showing that they're testing their own stuff and not relying on the community to be able to make some crazy ass builds and all that kind of thing. And then they go, hold on a second, and then literally within like a day or two, I think people were putting out Blood and Iron builds, and then what was it? It was Oh, she's outperforming by 10%? And everyone was like, oh, okay, well, 10%'s not that bad. That's, you know, that's fine. And then they announced the sheer amount of percentages that they were going to change it by. And it was like, I don't understand how any of this amounts to 10%. So, now don't get me wrong, you know, Glaze in a very good spot right now. You know, they did nerf her, but they did actually give us a nice quality of life, and you know, that's fine. You know, you take the bad with the good, and you know, they identified areas that they could have made her a bit stronger, so they, you know, made it a softer blow and all that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just it's bizarre to me. Like I've tried understanding the logic of Nexon for a long time now, and for the life of me, I just cannot do it. Every single time they just catch me off guard. So I find it's easier just not to try and think about it. That's not the way, but I do find it's easier to do that. Because the more I try to put sense into it, the more I'm like, I mean, this doesn't make any sense. Yeah, well. This is the game that we enjoy. I wasn't expecting to get into a rant tonight, but it seems to be the place we're in. Oh, will you stop putting me in this goddamn box? I don't even know how to get out of this box. Yeah, well. You know what? I'm gonna level up Crime and Punishment a little bit. Can't believe it's been 2 and a bit hours already. Actually, to be fair, the shop's open. I probably should be doing some bossing. Only 9 days left. How have we been pushed down to 7? God damn it. It's fine. Imagine everyone's just doing the same thing. It's just crit fishing. Yeah. Ah, singular. Yeah, singular could also be a bit of a factor. Ah, well. Yeah, let's get a bit of farming done. I need some green tickets. I need some of the outfits. I need to catch up on that. Oh my god. I haven't broke a single part, apparently. Wow, that's a new one. Hmm. Got a lot of Ice Maiden. So just over 9 days until the next big update by the looks of things, so I would expect that we'll get a dev live this week. Talking about what VS is going to be bringing to the table. Is there anything else that people are looking forward to? Or... Another 30. Great. Hmm. Yeah. Jesus, being stingy with the green tickets. Yo, Fanassi's here. Hi, appreciate you stopping by. How's everything going, Fanassi? How's your weekend been? TFD as well. Yeah, no, of course. It's well, I thought this week, I thought this Monday, I'd just purely catch up on some TFDing. It's been a little while, so it's about time I actually did a little bit more with it. Really enjoying Crimson Desert, but it feels like it's a bit of a slow burner for me at the moment. So. Feels worse. How did that get worse? Jesus. I actually felt like when I first cracked like the Ugh, it's literally just going to give me 30 at a time, isn't it? Z's here. What's up, guys? Cheers. I appreciate you stopping by, Z. You missed me cracking open a can. Granted, it's alcohol-free, but, you know, it's still a can. How's everything going with you? How's your weekend been? Super cool. Just hurt my hand in my gym. Nothing serious. Taking a break. How's about your weekend? Yeah, I mean, weekend's been a little bit on the challenging side because of Munchkin, but he decided he wants to be really, really fidgety and awkward for the last couple of days. So, come on. No, okay, all right. Here's what it is. There's 2 shots when... You're going to tell me that accuracy actually is needed here. Hold on. Oh god, I actually need this now. Yeah, no, apart from Kiddo, he's just been... fussy is not the word. He's been a pain, but teething. So, or at least that's what we believe. He's likes to be a challenge. But other than that, no, the weekend's been great. Yeah, it's just oh god, you're going into frenzy already, are you? That should be enough. Yeah. Yeah, just not much time being able to do gaming or anything like that, but you know, just enough to be able to actually kind of like get through the weekend. So yeah, hope everything's all good your end. They should have new maps to Breach monthly. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to. I've got nothing to do in the game. Farming the SCUs and Breach has become boring too. Always the same maps. That's a fair point. It's the same reason as to why I only do so much farming of Purge 10. I know there's a challenge for it, and I am so far away from being able to get what is it, the 1,000 runs that's needed for the challenge. In fact, actually, where do you find that again? Quest. The journal? No. Awards, medal. Yeah. I haven't done that much. I'm not even a third of the way there. And I just can't bring myself to do it because some of the maps are an absolute genuine pain in the arse to be able to do. So, but yes, because of that, I fully agree with you about Breach. I've got so many keys. I've done barely any actual farming myself. So just one jackpot would be nice at this point. Jesus. Had one too many over the weekend. Catching up on TFD. That's fair enough. You know, there's part of me that's thinking that, you know, on the weekend and all that kind of thing, just like kicking back and actually drinking some of this whiskey that I've got right next to my desk. At some point. And I'll do it. Can I imagine still so young, maybe stabilise in a couple of months? That's what I'm hoping. 100. You know, I get it. He's young, and you know, his body's going through a bit of a change, and you know, teeth coming through. It's not exactly a pleasant feeling, and you know, we haven't even got through a year yet, so it's what it is. But it doesn't make it any easier. I mean, heck, Jesus, like last night, you know, just to give you a little bit of an idea of what we're dealing with. Last night I literally get like a knock on the door from the wife saying, I think he's had a poo and all that kind of thing. I was like, great, that's fine. You know, I'll go take him downstairs, get him all changed over and all that kind of thing. And I don't think he was fully aware of where he was until... Oh, god damn it, I missed my roll. Yeah, I don't think he was fully aware what was going on. And he just... he lay down on the mat as I was just starting to be able to like get him changed and all that kind of thing. He looked at me and then he just started wailing. And I was just like, what am I supposed to do here? Like, and he wouldn't keep a dummy in his mouth. It was like almost 11 o'clock at night and just full on wailing. I was just like you understand what you're doing here, right? Like, it's just, I'm not doing this for my benefit. And it wasn't until after I was finished that he then stopped. But yeah, just oh god. If I didn't have a headache, I could easily get one. Oh, hold on. I think I might have just improved on my time there. I'm pretty sure that still said 9:51. I've improved on my time, but I've not moved position. Fantastic. Thanks, game. That's great. Well, I got my sub 10. That's fine. So yeah, Walter's here. I appreciate you stopping by, Walter. How's everything going? It's been a little while since I've actually caught up with you. Hope you've had a nice weekend. Hope your Monday's been treating you well. Yeah, we're on 500 something runs for Purge for the same reason. Yeah, and over 10k keys for Breach because for the 400 keys chat plus function. I've only hit it twice, I think. But yeah, I've done a few runs, you know, I don't mind it. I mean, Lepic makes easy work of it, especially his grenade build. But yeah, it's like I don't mind it every now and then, but yeah, it's not one that I just enjoy. Just like going, do you know what I want to do today? I want to be able to do 200 runs of breach tracking. Fantastic. That's exactly what I want to do today. It's consistent with the 10 seconds, I believe. Yeah. Oh, the fact that it's now accelerating research as well is actually quite a nice touch. What are we up to? 599. Not even enough to be able to buy 2 skins. Fantastic. That should be enough. Yeah. We'll do a couple more runs and then we'll swap it over to something else. I kind of just wanted to casually work towards getting a few more skins. run. Not even in all the damages. I haven't even broke the... God damn. That's a bad run. Oh, another 30. God, I love this game sometimes. So why is everyone currently farming for then when in TFD? Is there anything specific? Are you just like ancestor mod farming? What's you know, have you got your crime and punishment up to full levels? How are you still moving? Some right RNG in this. Give me another 30. You gave me another 30. Okay. Might get to 900. We can get to 900 now. I'll swap something. That allows me to buy 3 skins. I'm farming for that Dante cosplay stream. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, it's oh god, it's got to be over a year now. It's got to be getting close to 2 years. Jesus. Since I brought the Dante cosplay out. Actually, I've probably got a photo somewhere of it. Oh, didn't want that. There we go. Can I find it though? That's the real question. Are you there? Which one are you? There we go. That's the one. There's the one right there. Oh, look at that. Ah, sexy guy. Oh, with his Devil May Cry. The full boots and everything. It's not quite that though. It's not quite there, but obviously trying to mimic this. Yeah, no. If you want to put your points towards me doing a stream, a full-on stream, wearing a leather jacket and a scarf indoors, then that is. You can currently spend your viewer points over on Twitch, and you get points just from watching the stream. There's no money involved. I mean, you get more points if you subscribe, but you don't have to. You will get viewer points just from watching the stream, and you can donate all your points to to that being a thing. Do I know if it fits or not? I have no idea. I assume so. It's going to look very sad if I can't fit into that. I can even do a crossover cosplay if you really, really want me to, because I do have a full-on metal keyblade kicking around. So if you want me to be Dante with a keyblade, then we can make that happen as well. That's absolutely fine. Oh, I cocked this one up as well, didn't I? Great. That's fine. Dad bod Dante. I had a dad bod at the time of being able to do that as well. Because I was like, oh, do you know what? I really wish I could do like topless Dante. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to work on that and everything like that. Did I? Absolutely not. Why would I? Where do we donate to get you to Cosplayers Ultimate Money? Oh dear. Do you know what? This might take me to the dangerous parts of the internet. But does that kind of actually exist? I mean, technically at this point, with all the costumes that currently exist in the game, surely just wearing a maid outfit actually kind of like contributes to that. I could ask someone potentially to 3D print me the helmet, if they were kind enough. To be fair, it would actually be a really cool helmet to actually just have on the desk. I might have to ask him. That one might be a, if I ever get round to it, that might actually be like a subathon kind of goal. I'll buy a maid outfit and I will wear the helmet on stream. Oh, you stand still. Get Dan to do it. Well, that's the thing, like, he would be the one with the 3D printer, so... I don't currently own one. Oh, I heard a jingle. Hey, I just instantly get put up to 1500. How much did it give me? 721. I'll take that. That's fine. Cool. We can move on to something else. The devs are buffing Harris' next update, the propaganda word. Did you catch the stream, Raze? I did catch the stream. I didn't catch it at the time that it initially went live. I kind of caught up with it not the morning after, but like a few hours later while I was driving to work, and just kind of grabbed it that way. I'm trying to think, who do I want? Kyle could be a funny one. That helmet could be a fun little missile thing, so I might do that. Yeah, I do have choice words for it. Unfortunately. You've missed the whole rant that I've had. Bids with the sponsor of the channel. Oh, well, thank you so much there, Bids. I believe that is going to be a subscription on the Twitch side, so thank you so much there, Bids. You didn't have to do that, but I really do appreciate you spending some money with myself. Or is that on the YouTube side? Either way, it's one of the two. But thank you for that, anyway. Yeah, the stream was... It was a mixed bag. I will say that this is probably the first time that a streamer's felt like 2 steps forward and 1 step back, rather than it being 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Most of this stuff was kind of good from what I can remember, because it was over on it was on Thursday, wasn't it? You know, the synchronization values being adjusted, kind of cool, because that does help with like the markets. That does help with a few descendants that are ridiculously low compared to others that absolutely shouldn't be. Like, for example, Blair has a lower synchronization value than Lepic for no reason that I can actually find. So, you know, that's a good one to be able to, like, you know, start seeing. Sharon being able to get that buff, you know, kind of cool. You know, I get why they lowered it down, but to be fair, I do think they did overtune it initially. So to start seeing her hit higher crit values is an absolute win in my book. If anyone was actually supposed to get it, then it would be her. But yeah, so there were some good things to be able to take away from it, and you know, I think the main problem with it all is the fact that it stems back to Serena, and because you weren't around, just to reiterate what I actually kind of like talked about earlier, that Serena bit, it got me to actually laugh like full on in my car while I'm driving to work down the motorway and everything like that, because I genuinely found it so ridiculous. None of it made sense. Like, I just can't believe that we can go, we hear that you're saying nerf Serena, we hear that Kingsguard Lance was doing way more with Serena than was initially intended, and it became a problem. But we won't talk about that. Instead, what we're actually going to do is we're going to raise the HP of other descendants. And it was just like, why? What are we doing? Like, what are we hoping to achieve here? Because we're not achieving anything with that kind of mentality. And I get that, you know, we've got like the whole, we're not going to nerf anything, and you know, I get it. I get why they're saying it. It's not lost on me. I do understand why. You know, they're so reluctant to actually do something about it. I fully appreciate it. I fully get it. It's not the right mentality, but at least I can understand it. Whereas, you know, it's been over a year, and we kind of are in a spot where Serena is the thing that's kind of holding the game back, and she has been holding it back for the best part of a year now. You know, and she should have been dealt with at the time, but she wasn't because of the Inez nerf, so I also kind of understand that. I get it's a minefield. It really is a tricky one to be able to kind of like sort out. You know, I don't envy their position whatsoever, but in the same kind of respect, you've got to do something about it. Like, we've got 22 actual descendants in this game. Take away the ultimates, because they are basically the same descendants. We've got 22 actual descendants in game. One of which is the problem. The other 21 are being buffed up to be able to reach her level, which to do that is so much more extra work. And then we've also got to factor in that if you do that, you then have all the older content, which is just getting kind of like pushed out, is now ridiculously easy. There's no point actually ever kind of running it or anything to that point. And it's just like, the more you think about it, the more you just like kind of like take a second and just go, why? Like, what are we achieving with this? We're not achieving anything. We're not getting any closer. You know, most of the descendants in this game were in a good spot before Serena kind of like appeared. You could argue that some of them needed a little bit of quality of life, and some of them have had that over the course of a year, which is great. You know, that's what you should do. You should never have like a stale sandbox. It should always be constantly evolving. You should be looking at adding a couple of buffs here, small minor buffs and all that kind of thing, enough to be able to like bring them into a bit more relevancy. Whether that pushes them into meta relevancy, then you're like, well, hold on a second, we've created a new meta game. In the next patch, we can then go, oh, well, these are going to be next. We might start doing something along those kind of lines. And you're like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. I like this. It's a gradual kind of process. It's a gradual kind of increase. And that's absolutely fine. But Serena just kind of like dropped into the game. And as soon as people kind of figured her out, and when it came to her kits, because she was like one of the first to bring like full-on paragraphs into a kit. It's been insane, and it's been insane for the best part of a year. And she's only got worse because of, just because of the weapons and everything that's been added. You could argue that, we finally stopped buffing Serena because of melee weapons being added to the game and she can't do anything with them. But then you go and rework Kingsguard Lance and it's now the most broken thing that she's ever actually wielded in her hands, and it's just like, well, what are we even doing here? So no, I like I said, if you take out the Serena part, everything else sounded fine. It didn't sound like a problem. It sounded good. It sounded, positive for the future. The game's not going anywhere anytime soon. That's fantastic news. That kind of squashed the rumors about the dev conference that they had and all that kind of stuff. Fantastic. They hit that point straight away. They got the, hit the ground running. Stopped people from worrying about it and all that kind of thing. Fantastic. That's what they should have done. They achieved that quite well. And then, they talked about a couple of other changes. They talked about, like, the future roadmap. It's not going to end Corel or anything like that. So we're like, whoa, okay, hold on a second. Where's the story actually kind of going from here? It starts like a little bit of like a thought process that, even though we see low kind of like numbers, maybe they are actually thinking about how they can actually buff it ready for, for whatever to happen and all this kind of thing. And they're planning for the future. That's fantastic news, and they're not worried about like the short term. Great. It's all positive stuff. And then they genuinely brought out the Serena stuff, and it was just like, oh, we're just here, are we? So, like I said, I'm personally not happy about it, but it just feels like par for the course nowadays. Alyssa was crashing out live when they said no Serene left. Yeah, and rightly so. It's why is she getting preferential treatment over other descendants? And one great example was earlier when we were talking about Glay. Glay got hit twice with a rework and everything like that, and we can't even get one. Yeah, we can't even get one towards Serena, just to be able to bring her in line to make things better for everyone else and all that kind of thing. It's just, it's not right. It really isn't. But what can you do? What can you do? What we got? 8 minutes until. Just wait and see. I wish I had that optimism still left, because I feel like they've had the best part of my optimism for the last 2 years. And I'm still going to be playing the game, and I'm still going to be having a good time, and it's not like full on doom and gloom, but it is a bit of a case of, like, if they're not going to listen to us, then at the end of the day, we're the ones that are kind of playing the game. But the main kind of like downside from it all is the fact that the player base is kind of a bit split about it. Alright, fine, we'll get rid of you the old-fashioned way, shall we? There we go. Do you know what? I could probably play this one-handed, which is most of the player base right now. By doing this. Good damage? Yeah, no, I blooming love Megman Lepic. This is definitely one of my personal favourites. Oh, thanks for giving me Kingsguard Lance. Literally the main bloody culprit of Serena's issue. I've got so little cost on this build that unless you activate your skill 2, you're not going to have an issue with it, ever. But then you can activate your skill 2. And you can... Hello. Oh. Oh. Yeah. The biggest thing was that in the same live stream they said no nerfs are not their policy, and while nerf characters and we think we should, and proceed to refuse to nerf Serena. Yeah, I mean, my favourite line about it was we should nerf Descendants, or we should nerf. I might be paraphrasing here, but we should nerf within a certain window or certain time or something along those kind of lines. It basically saying that, you know, that basically, oh, our window has passed for nerfing Serena. Well, you haven't even suggested it the first time yet. So, you know, I feel like that's not quite the case. But if that's what you think, then that's what you think. I mean, at the end of the day, the devs are going to do what they want to. You know, the player base will vote with their wallets. Well, I mean, they're not going to vote with their wallets when it comes to skins and all that kind of thing. You know, it's... skins market is absolutely booming, as it always is, but they could have so much more, but this is where we're up to, unfortunately. So might as well wait for Warcrasher. We'll just sit. Unfortunately, though, and this is probably a hard truth that some people don't want to kind of like take. We kind of have to take a little bit of responsibility ourselves as a community for it, because you know the Innes nerf for what it was. You know, rightly so, they got some backlash for it, but I don't think if it was to the same magnitude, they would have been as hesitant towards Serena to be able to nerf her. Same with people being very vocal about nerfing Serena in the early days, saying that they don't want it and all that kind of thing. I think we've got to kind of like take a little bit of responsibility for it. You know, it's still 100% in the devs kind of like court and all that kind of thing in terms of like, you know, overall. But I feel like for us to kind of like just put our heads in the sand and say no, not our fault and all that kind of thing is probably wrong. But you know, it's the situation we're in now, I guess. Yep, everyone's so angry at the moment. It's worse on Reddit. Not it used to be Chobana anymore. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's such a polarizing topic. You've got people that, and Alyssa's poll is a fantastic way of being able to actually understand, because he's got a bit more reach than myself. But being able to see that 56% of people are saying yes, nerf Serena, and 44% are saying no, don't touch my Serena, basically. Yeah, it's about as close as to like halfway as you could possibly imagine. Like in terms of like most of the decisions that TFD has, that's probably the closest that we're actually going to get to like a perfect 50-50 split. And that poses a problem in of itself, because if half of the people are saying yes, nerfer, and half of the people are saying no, and you can't appease both sides. You're just going to be hurting the player base. But I feel like it's one of those that you kind of have to hurt the player base a little bit to improve overall, because the game's never going to be healthy until that actually gets addressed. But it's what it is. Master Z, and he's forcing me to do a Christopher Walken impression with the Serena was described as an old generational first generation descendant. She was supposed to be a powerful. I get that, and that's completely fair enough. And I'm not saying that she should be absolutely gutted like Inez did and all that kind of stuff. Far from it. I'm more than happy for her to still be the strongest descendant out of all of them. I just think that she needs fine tuning. That's it. That's all I'm suggesting. The main thing that's going to be the problem is going to be her skill 4, being able to do so much extra damage. I think if that was reduced down to, I don't know the exact maths, so it's a bit hard for me to be able to say for certain. But if it was reduced down to something like maybe like 250% from 312, then, she might be in a healthier state. We wouldn't need to worry about it as much. It's... Yeah. She'd still be ridiculously strong. She'd still be a fantastic, Gunner Descendant, and, she could just be the multi-hit, Descendant. Similar to like how Glay is kind of like the crit one with unlimited ammo. There's so many different ways they could handle it, but for whatever reason they're just refusing to, and just like that's it. We just kind of have to grin and bear it, I suppose. It's not a bad icebreaker. So yeah, it's just we could have done so much, but alas, this is the situation that we're now in. So I've seen someone just mentioned about Nil, so we will. Yeah, it's fine. You're slow, that's why. Yeah, we can use a little bit of Nil. We'll do a couple more runs. Usually I'd end the stream here, but I'm enjoying chat and everything like that. So let's do a couple runs with Nell, just to mix things up, and then we'll call it for the evening. So there you go, King Holly. I appreciate you stopping by, and hope you've had a nice weekend, and I hope your Monday's treated you well. Solo lab. Oh, we could. Do you know what? We could give that a go. I'll be honest with you, haven't tried it, but we could give it a go. We can learn together. To be fair though, I'm pretty happy with that, so let's cool down. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty everything should be all set up. Yeah, that's fine. Everything should be on max cooldown because of the Ancestor mod. It has been a hot minute since I've last played now, so everything should be all good to go. But we'll, like I said, we'll figure this out. It's hard. Oh. I really wanted for a second just to say Hard's my middle name, but it's not. We'll give it a go. Let's see what happens. There's Ultimate Serena? Yeah, exactly. It's you've got to address it before Ultimate Serena becomes a thing. I'm so glad that they haven't mentioned Ultimate Serena just yet. Biz, it's the end of the evening for me. Let me have some fun. How much health have I got? 6k HP. Actually, this might not go the way I expected it to. This is going to be fun. I'm going to be very heavily reliant on my HP regen here. Oh god. No. To be fair, if I can get a sub 5 with this, I think I'll be happy. Damn it. No, no, that's not good. No. It was going so well to that point. Oh god, yeah. See what you mean. It is just chaos, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be played with this little health. I mean, it's been done, but it's not ideal. So as soon as you stop moving, that's it. To be fair, I am got blast cannon. Oh god, minigunner. So I think what we've learned is do not play glass cannon now. Because that is not fun for anyone. Put it there. Oh no, now what do I do? Oh no, I can get out of this one. Interesting. Okay. Oh, have I not actually killed him? Oh my god. I genuinely thought I'd actually done all the damage I needed. Hadn't even broke his morning phase. Well, you can one-shot him. That's kind of cool. Yeah, maybe not the build. So, what would... It's almost there. I'm thinking you could probably keep Enlightened Mage, but you'd probably have to put in a HP node somewhere. Just trying to think what would be... Probably focus on tech, but it depends on how much... Oh, well in this build that's actually not too bad. Yeah, I'd probably be putting... what does that put me up to? 12? Yeah, 13. We could probably work with that. You could probably rejig this a little bit as well. So you could probably go towards the cooldown mode if you really wanted to, but unfortunately with the cooldown one that I've got, we're only talking 0.4 seconds on the ultimate, which is fine, and we're talking 0.1 seconds when it comes to your skill 1, so that's fine. This is more than usable inside of this build specifically, but yeah, that probably depends on your ancestor mod. Do I have anything else that can be used? Could potentially use that one. Doesn't have as much crit damage, but yeah, there's a couple kicking around. We'll try one more. Someone in the content creator talk at least did brought up. Oh, thank you so much for the follow there, Dark Barbosa. I really do appreciate it. Thanks so much. TFD is mostly played in Europe and North America, yet the devs don't care about their live streams. I think you'll find that I think they mentioned in their dev conference thing that I think didn't they mention that most of their stuff was actually not Asia as such, but like Korea, because they have their own kind of like launch platform. I vaguely recall something like that being a thing. I could be misquoting it, to be fair. Yeah, it's a bit better. It's a bit safer. The 0.1 seconds does kind of feel a little bit clunky compared to the last run that we just did, but overall it's fine. Yeah, I haven't felt in danger since. It's good damage. Yeah, as soon as you add in health, it's actually quite solid. It's not the fastest thing, but it feels kind of cool. I think my favourite thing about her ultimate with this fourth is you can wiggle it back and forth. I need to find like an example. So you can wiggle it back and forth and you can actually kill everyone that's around you. Do that, do that. Stack yourself back up. Yeah, that kind of works. Good at. Oh god, no. Why is this box such a thing? Oh god. It's just chaos. There we go. What are we looking at? 5:30. Yeah, it's a bit on the slow side, but it can be done. That's not bad. Not a bad roll. It's also not a bad roll, I don't think. I think that could be probably used in something. So we'll go back to Albion. Haley or Nell? I would probably recommend Haley over Nell, to be honest with you. Depending on if you are going co-op or not, then I'd probably recommend Camo Sniper. Do you know what? We could probably do a one Camo Sniper run, and then we'll probably call it for the stream. But yeah, we could talk about it. It's fine. Do that. Let's go over here and get my token stuff before I forget. Not included in Nixon's earnings report from last February. They showed their top 3 games by region. TFD only showed in Europe and North America. Oh, okay, fair enough then. Oh. That is a tiny bit surprising. 3 dailies out of that. Cool. Matthew Ferguson, 19. I appreciate you stopping by. How's everything going with you? Hope you had a nice weekend. Hope your Mondays treated you well. Yeah, welcome to the stream. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, it's I mean, Killer Sniper should be fine. In theory, it's going to be really good with the mobbing side of things. It shouldn't have an issue with the bossing, because you can always use this and fall back on there. So checking, do we need anything more? Yeah, probably fine. I'll put the sword on because I do want to work on its proficiency levels, but and we will use this customization because it's been a little while since I've ran this, so let's go. He's blocked from the stream. Oh, I appreciate the follow there for Matthew. Appreciate it so much. It shouldn't be blocked. That's a bit weird. Let me take a bit of a look. I've not personally blocked him, so unless maybe the stream's done something to him, but 1 second. Weird. How's he on? He's... what was the username? 106? Yeah, Daft Tunes. 106. Weird. I can't see anything to suggest. Hold on a second. No. Sorry about this, folks. I'm trying to understand why one of my mods has just been trying to figure out one of my mods is not. Able to access the stream. Oh, I swear to God. honestly, I can't take some of you. Honestly, I'm trying to figure something. And there's genuinely nothing wrong. Honestly. Kobe, I appreciate you stopping by. How's everything going with you? How's your weekend been? And how's your Monday? Trying to figure out who I want to main. Love Valby the most, but don't know if she's viable. Also, Olympics cool, but I can't figure out your build. Your 4 lasts for ages. Mine's like 5 seconds. Well, Kobe, before we go into the last run of the evening, let's have a bit of a talk about it. Now, I would recommend that. So the one that I did go for like the fastest time and everything like that, didn't use skill extension. I would recommend, if you want consistent runs, to use skill extension. Skill extension is, even with this, I can get sub 10 seconds. In fact, actually, I did it on stream. I was able to get 999 or 992 or something like that. So, yeah, skill extension is still absolutely fine. You do not need to go for spear and shield to be able to get the most out of that. The rest of it, though, with that included, that will give us 11.7 seconds. You do need to be able to animation cancel. The main kind of rotation is, I did put it on the video, but just in case, the best thing to be able to do is, after you proc a crit, is activate your 2, which is going to be overclock, activate your 4, roll, and then throw out your grenade. That is going to be the fastest way to get into your rotation. That is going to give you the most amount of time inside of your skill 4, and that's going to also give you all of the buffs that you actually need from your skill 2, and also from your passive, to be able to get the most kind of like stuff out of it. If you start using your skill 4, if you wait for the full duration, you're not going to have enough time to be able to shoot all your balls, because your duration is counted from the time that you activate the skill. Skill 2 is also going to eat into your time a tiny bit, so you can actually activate this before you go into your 4, and that will actually give you all of the extra fire rate buffs. But your 1 you have to throw when your skill 4 is out. So you have to be able to throw that one out. That's the only one that you can't get around. So that's the only other thing that you'll be able to go. But yeah, everything else is still the absolute same. Just skill extension is just way more consistent. So I would recommend going for that over spear and shield. So yeah, so that's essentially the best way to be able to go. So yeah, everything else exact same. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into how you're going about your rotation. For like a mobbing run with that skill extension you're using for all the time, so not for mobbing, this is purely for bossing. You don't want to use this build at all when it comes to mobbing. Instead, with mobbing, we go for something that I call Mega Man. Mega Man is still kind of the same kind of stuff. A lot of stuff does tend to stay the same. The main kind of changes are going to be components and going to be your modules. But your weapon is still going to be pretty much Nazistras. You are still going to want sharp precision shot, fire rate up, all that kind of good stuff. But going into the modules, you want to use increased efficiency. This keeps your skill 4 constantly up, and this means that you're able to essentially just hold down the trigger and just fire shot after shot after shot after shot. So when you've got sharp precision shot on your gun as well, that is going to be constantly building up fire rate. So this will get faster and faster, and that's essentially what we kind of want to do. Now, I am going to be doing an updated video for this one, for mobbing, because this is probably going to be the best in slot now. The only kind of flex spot I would say is maybe strong mentality or maximize duration, but I think these two kind of do go hand in hand. It does rely heavily on the fact that your skill 4 is going to be restoring your MP though. So if you feel like you are still going through too much of your MP bar, especially if you don't have this kind of ancestor mod where it's got a reduced skill cost, then I would probably recommend swapping one of those out and going for MP collector. Probably strong mentality, but you know, feel free to be able to mess about whatever one you want to be able to go for. But the reason why we go for skill extension and maximize duration on this is because we essentially want to go keep this up as max as much as possible. Because with enough skill cost, we can essentially negate what the extra increase of the 70% is from this. So we just get a massive damage increase by just going for that. So this is going to be the main way to be able to go for that. Tuning you have asked for, it's essentially just this one. We are going for a bit of more of a mobbing kind of side of things. We do go for a little bit of MP recovery, just to be able to help us stay a little bit upright when it comes to our MP bar, because as soon as we lose all of our MP, then our skill 4 goes away. Fire Cohesion is still going to be the best one when it comes to mobbing. And then, yeah, essentially, this is the kind of board that we're going for. The only thing we need to kind of factor is going to be range, but only range to 100%. So we only get a max expandable range of 200%, so that is 100% for the range. So we just chuck in a skill expansion, we let the arcade tuning board do the rest for us. And then inversion-wise, skill cost is going to be your best friend. That is going to be feeding into the rest of the build. Selective Neuro is also going to be your best friend. And then you can go for something like Deploy Hardened Shell, but anything that's essentially just going to like help you with survivability. So antibody is good, pain suppression can be used, Deploy Hardened Shell. Deploy Hardened Shell just is my kind of go-to. It just essentially gives me like 10% reduced damage incoming, so it just allows me to survive. The best part about this is the fact that you still get your passive with Close Call, so you will still essentially get your... If you go down to 1 HP, you will get your 8.8 seconds of just invincibility, and just be able to get yourself back up and just ready to go. But yeah, this build's incredibly useful. But yeah, you can toss up between this and the grenade spam one. Both of them work really, really nicely. The grenade one, it relies more on your traction nade, but if you just want to essentially just run like on PC, just press W and then hold down M1, you can essentially do that with this build. So yeah, but I will be covering that in a video. I'm hoping to get something like that out this week. But essentially that's just like kind of like general rundown. I'll talk about like tips and when you actually want to use your skill 2 and when you don't and all that kind of stuff. I'll cover that all in the video, but that's just like a general rundown. So yeah, hopefully that helps you out. Darth didn't know Pids was going to say anything. Well, I genuinely thought that we'd actually got you banned. So I'm trying to figure something else. What was I going to do? I was going to do one more. Oh yeah, it was Haley, wasn't it? We'll try a Snipe Hunter. I won't lie, I've not tried this inside of Lab, but it should, in all theory, be absolutely fine. So we'll run it anyway. I could have just gone straight into the mission. Yeah, well. Put the swords on. Serious question for you: which characters are good for sword builds? Never done one. Well, there's actually quite a few good ones kicking around there out in the community nowadays. So Keelan is a great place to start. Glay is also a great place to start, as well as Dyer, if I remember right. Pretty sure Dyer's. I know she uses a stat stick, but I think she can. Let's get out of that. Yeah, it still clears. Ow. I would probably say that Glay is maybe the strongest one to currently use swords, especially with Hypernova. Hypernova is a fantastic option to use with her. Mainly because you can essentially, with Blood and Iron as a build, my god, this is... There we go. Yeah, Blood and Iron makes really good use of it. So essentially, if you use Hypernova, Hypernova is a really fun weapon. It's a fantastic, probably one that I would argue that Hypernova is better than Malevolent as a battle pass weapon. Let's get up here. Definitely a case to be made for it. Ow. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen after I had the first one hit me. There we go. Whoop. Oh, that's interesting. There we go. I was going to say, is that actually not proper now? There we go. Yeah, so she can dish out some nice damage, to be fair. Oh god. I can't even see him. Got assassinated. There we go. There we go. So it can be done. You can get faster than that. That's my first time trying it, but you can absolutely get faster than that. There's probably an argument to be made that Cold Heart is probably a little bit faster, but you absolutely can do it. As for talking about Sword Descendants, we do have a couple of options. So, interestingly, Lepic can actually use swords quite well because of Traction Nade, so you can actually go for some kind of route with that. Probably wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but you can do. Ajax is a really good sword user, so you can absolutely go into that kind of build. So if you want to go that kind of route, I do have a build on the YouTube, but this is essentially what you want to be able to go for. So you can go for Void Explosion Focus, and that essentially allows you to be able to proc enemies. So every single time you use your Void Explosion, you'll gain charges. And you're essentially, with any minutes that get void leakage on them, you'll essentially just trigger explosions on them. It's quite strong. It's probably one of the better ones to be able to use. We do have Gleionessa. So Blood and Iron is fantastic to be used with Hypernova over any other sword, and the reason why is because if you activate your 3 when you're already in Berserk or Frenzied, you essentially deal even more damage on top of your melee attack, but your melee attack is counted from you being able to actually throw this out, so your alt fire on this, every single tick of that is counted as melee attack. So you can actually throw this out to deal some damage. It will also gain the extra skill power that you'll have from this being active at the same time, and on top of that you can also then activate your rampage, so you can deal even more damage on top of that. The also a really nice advantage of that is that your passive will be triggering on 30% or, oh no, it's 50% with melee weapons, 50% chance of being able to gain some extra power of life, which then feeds into your rampage. So essentially you want to be frenzied, activate your 3, throw out your Hypernova, activate rampage, and all the time that your weapon will actually be starting to fill this back up as well. So it's a really nice synergy right there as well. Is there anyone else kicking around here? Keelan, also great option, especially if you go for Septic Torrent. Similar as kind of like to how we've just talked about with Glay. Your Septic Torrent will be giving you additional skill power damage on every single melee swing. You can use this with Shadow, you can use this with Hypernova. Both of those work really, really nicely, and you'll be dashing around into melee range all the time. And then you've got Dire. I don't think anyone else here. Yeah, just Dire. So Dire is just going to mainly use it as a stat stick here to be able to increase a critical hit rate. If you've got enough cooldown, you'll never actually use the melee weapon. But if you don't have enough cooldown, then every now and then you'll actually be using it. But essentially just tow them all together, and you can just deal some damage as well. So yeah. Do I have a build for Dire? I'm pretty sure that exists on the channel. I think it's the only Dire build that I've actually kind of released so far. So if you search for Dire on my channel, you should be able to actually get the build that's for her. So I'd recommend that one as well. I do have the one for Glay. Glay and Etta does exist on the channel, and that does actually go through all the little kind of like little bits to be able to help you out there. So yeah, that's everything. Right, in that case, it is way past my bedtime, so I am going to call the stream there. I do really appreciate all of you spending your time with myself. I mean, I know you've got other things that you could absolutely be doing, but you choose to spend it with me, so I really do appreciate that, and I always will do. So thank you all so much for your Monday evening. And yeah, the next stream will be on Friday. I haven't fully decided if it's fully TFD or if it's going to be the mixture of TFD and Crimson. But if you've got any questions or anything like that, feel free to be able to save them for then. Otherwise, you can actually find my Discord at the pinned comment for both Twitch as well as YouTube. So if you want to be able to actually ask me some questions or just catch me just in general, in the meantime, that's the best place to actually go and do so. But yeah, that's it from me. So thank you all so much. Keep yourselves safe, keep yourselves well, and I'll see you all on the next video. Cheers.